But it is set. We talk about getting to the quarterfinals, getting to the semi-finals, but this is knockout now. There is Jerome Garces in charge of this with an all-French officiating unit. Joe Worsley will translate with his Franglais now, but Jerome Garces, the man in the middle, and we're ready, winner take all. And Leinster just seem to be getting stronger and stronger, but we know that Matt O'Connor, the coach, is not too keen to have them carry the Irish flag, but they are the only Irish side who can go through now, and that is in stark contrast to recent seasons where Ireland have had healthy representation in the knockout stages. Will they be there again in the form of Leinster, or will it be Wasps who go through? It's Andy Good, Coventry man, who gets us underway to a roar. Oh, taken in now, there's a bit of over-exuberance there from the heavily haired figure of Ashley Johnson.
Well, he's got himself yellow carded early on. Just going to consult his touch shot. Jerome Garces, this will be a disaster for Wasps and Ashley Johnson so early in this game. Clearly taking him out in the air. Just wants to have another look at this. It's just clumsy from Ashley Johnson. You know, he's looking up at the ball, but then he's taking the man in the air.
Land on the back, please.
Well, the cards are out of the pocket, Andrew, and they may not be going back in before a yellow card is dispatched. Let's have another look at this.
Well, Dave Carney goes up.
If you're honest with this, it doesn't matter if it's 5 seconds into the game or 55 minutes in. It's a stupid challenge, a silly challenge, an unnecessary one, and yellow is probably the right option.
Well, he'll be lucky just to get the yellow.
Sometimes it can happen in the very early moments with the overexcitement and the adrenaline flowing, but as Brian says, it doesn't matter what time it happens in the game. Ashley Johnson is a sizable figure to lose this early in the game for Wasps. First challenge, and Wasps a man down. And worryingly, of course, as well for Leinster, that Carney landing awkwardly. It wasn't on his back, it was on his shoulder.
Well, again, part of, as we see Carney getting some treatment there, and hopefully he'll be okay to resume, but it's just that borderline when you come out of the change room, having the right aggression levels, but you've got to time your tackles correctly. And really, it was a kick-off that Wasps had lost. It was a little bit too deep, even for Johnson to be able to retrieve the ball.
And you can see there the wrists taking the impact for Dave Carney.
He knows, doesn't he? He knows he's made a terrible mistake, and he's just going to have to sit down and think about it for 10 minutes now and hope his team can respond.
I'd imagine it's a record in the old Heineken Cup and now the new Champions Cup that he won't be overly proud of and reminded of for years to come. The quickest yellow card you would have to imagine in competition history.
Jerome Garces asking his friend, Dave Carney says, don't know yet.
Well, again, it's how Wasps are able to respond to this. They've really got to shore up. You know, the players are hardly into the game in terms of being warm, or they've got to be able to react defensively. They're going to have to cover for Ashley Johnson. Wouldn't be surprised if Leinster just go for the driving line out straight away.
Just hide behind the thatch of hair. You must feel like it. Gopperth has found a decent enough touch just inside the Wasps half. Can they find that extra man advantage, exploit the gap that will surely be their good driving maul? It's a lot of bulk to lose in Johnson. And a little hit on the ball from Gaskell there.
Yeah, Wasps seemed to have rebuffed that challenge initially, but Gaskell just coming in offside. Dai Young looking on a little bit concerned. That's one yellow card, one penalty, and now a second penalty will allow Leinster the opportunity to put this right down deep into the corner, and you could see exactly what their mindset was with the extra man. Go straight for the drive, and it'll be same again.
And a really good kick from Jimmy Gopperth. He's not pushed it, not gone for the safe option of just making it to the 22. It's right down on the 5-metre line.
Just see Gaskell, he thinks he's come through the middle, but referee Garces penalised it. And what that yellow card has done is just handed the initiative massively to Leinster.
That was a great kick from Gopperth, the man who's on his way to Wasps. And there are cries of Leinster in there now. Just 6 metres away and rising to take it down. And Dominic Ryan there. Can they get the same kind of drive on now? They're being shunted towards the touchline. But then a change of direction, change of tack. Redden gives it to Captain Heaslip. Straight in and beyond Andy Goods. Advantage to Leinster. And nothing doing there with the slip. Still that advantage, and still they get closer and closer to an early try. So Redden looks again, once again Heaslip's there, rather late, passes out to Madigan and beyond, and there it is now, a possible try. Yes, the score for Fergus McFadden, and Leinster have the breakthrough.
Well, that's the worst possible start for this Wasps side. Just over 3 minutes into the game, they let Heaslip get the leg drive on, and then the ball came out. McFadden ends up being the extra man. Didn't take Leinster that much to work the overlap on the outside. As the ball comes wide here, there just seem to be numbers there, and Van Dal's trying to drift, but in vain. Unfortunately, McFadden gets down in the corner. Fantastic start for Leinster.
I think the important pass was the one from Jamie. He slipped rather than going through the hands. He threw it out the back, used a decoy runner, and just drew in Elliot Daly. And as a result, Leinster had the numbers.
Just think it was one of those that the ball, the referee Garces was playing advantage, and Wasps just couldn't allow that ball to come out. As soon as they did, they were always up against it, and it was a simple case of hands and numbers.
Well, on the other wing though, I think Dave Carney is off after that early knock, being upended in the air, so his fellow winger Fergus McFadden, and both those wings back reasonably recently from injury. I think Dave Carney is off. Now Madigan to add the extra two. What a beautiful kick. Wonderful kick from that tight angle from Madigan. 7 from 8 last week, and 1 from a very difficult one to get going here today. And a dreadful start for Wasps, down to 14 men, down 7 points.
Yeah, it's the worst possible start. Not only losing the man Ashley Johnson to the sin bin, but just handing that initiative. As the away team, Leinster would have felt they would have had to work their way into this game, but they've been given such an opportunity. And 7-0 up on the scoreboard.
I'm just peering across there. I presume Dara Fanning is on. There he is on the far side. Scored a couple of tries, as I mentioned, against Wasps in the win at the RDS, and he's ready to take it in. So he gets an early chance, but a real shame for Dave Carney, not long back from that long time out with the ACL injury. Laid back like Toner. A little bit of a slice from Gopperth, and McFadden had to do well, and then Rob Carney under pressure, but a penalty to Wasps, Leinster offside.
Yeah, the ball goes up. You could see the tactics from Leinster there, just putting the diagonal kick across. They did get numbers to the ball, but unfortunately they knocked it on, and the Leinster man was offside. It gives Andy Good an early opportunity just to get Wasps on the scoreboard and run a little bit of the clock down on the Johnson sin bin.
Wait. Well, okay. Oh, it's fine. Okay.
Lawrence, I think that's going to be a huge aspect of the game as to who tactically kicks well, and not just who kicks well, but we all know, we heard the saying that you're only as good as your chase. Well, guys getting in the air, wingers winning ball, making sure they create a good platform for the team going forward.
Well, I thought that Leinster might have the edge obviously in the 10 minutes, but it came very, very quickly and fairly easily, that try. But a chance for Andy Good to get something back for Wasps. Just held its position, good enough for Andy Good, points machine for so many clubs over the years. And Dye a little bit happier, no doubt about that. If they can just keep Leinster at bay for the remaining 3:43 and 2 of this sin bin for Ashley Johnson, they'll be doing okay.
Well, I think that just shows you that both kickers, Madigan and Good, over 80% kicking rate. Andy Good certainly found his new home in Coventry, where he was born, a very comfortable place. That's him over 50 points in 3 matches here now.
Good take by Gaskell for Wasps, and just held in there by Ben Jacobs, the Australian centre, and Joe Simpson with a clearing kick. There's Rob Carney, younger brother, off now. And McFadden straight into Nathan Hughes. Shouts of box kick, and over it goes from Redden, and Andy Good waiting, and fortunate to get it in the bounce. And that kick might work well.
Yeah, the original box kick just went a little bit deeper than Andy Good was thinking there. He had his back to the ball. It's always quite difficult to catch the ball when you're not facing it, but got the ball away to Miller, and he managed to get the ball to touch.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, you could hear the calls of box kick, but if the accuracy of that was a little bit better and could have been landed on Andy Good, it was a great kick chase, 3 or 4 Leinster players, and was lucky to get it away.
Well, that's twice that they've angled that kick towards Good, so we'll keep an eye out for that.
Little pass on the shoulder finds McFadden, and Leinster moving it nicely wide again, but finding a little bit crowded up there, decides to just bounce off Christian Wade. Haskell's taken a bit of a knock. He's back on his feet now. He's still struggling. He's holding his arm in a strange limp fashion. James Haskell, I think he's in bother here. But James Haskell is all out of shape. Blue scrum cap at the bottom of your picture there. Trying to crack himself back in.
Looks like the stereotypical stinger, where he just is trying to get the nerves working again, and if the Leinster can identify that and go at him, he's an easy target.
And Haskell will get himself in the way at least. Oh, ball comes back to Wasps, and Goods can relieve a bit of pressure. And Gopper was sort of pointing the way as the ball sailed over his head. And up she goes again, and Simpson waiting. The crowd rise to a big charge from Nathan Hughes, the number 8. Haskell there, and well, flat, cry the crowd. Forward, says the referee. Oh, choice language. Apologies.
Yeah, forward pass. Was trying to get Nathan Hughes straight into the game. Cronin was up there on Bradley Davis. Don't think there's any doubt it was forward. But a really crucial turnover by Nathan Hughes, just to allow James Haskell to regenerate that injury and get himself back into the game.
His arm was just flopping around by his side. He said, trying to stretch off the neck and the shoulder. You get these stingers, and well, I presume it hurts.
It does, and do you know what? It's sometimes it's just a matter of hiding out in the wing or getting away from the action for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and it does come back.
Or just look busy.
A lot of ruck watching you'll find James Haskell doing the next couple of minutes.
Oh dear, just trying to pop something back in. Anyway, Ashley Johnson is not far away from coming back on, and he might have to wait for the next passage of play. Still fully bibbed up. Is that the bib of sin? Did they get a yellow bib to wear?
I think it is. You get a bib of sin. It used to be a seat of sin.
Take off the bib of shame and come back on, Ashley. And they've actually not done too badly, Wasps, since that initial conceded try. They've clawed back into a little bit. Northampton against Racing coming up at 3 o'clock, straight after this one on BT Sport 1 HD.
I don't know.
I think with Ashley Johnson coming back on as well, he will be fired up.
Well, he knows he owes his team. He's made a mistake. Doesn't need anyone to tell him that, and he knows he's got a big few minutes coming up when he comes back on.
A man of his size should absolutely know that you never take the first 10 minutes of a game off, because now he has to definitely play for 70. If you're going to take a 10-minute break throughout, at least do it after 50 or 60 minutes.
I have to say, he's been up to that point of the offence. He's been magnificent for Wasps all season. Top man on the turnovers, 10 turnovers in the tournament so far. As we go down for the first scrum on this pitch, first scrum of the game. Wasps been going very well in the Premiership up against a good quality Leinster outfit. Jerome Garces was insistent that Ashley Johnson stay off till the next breakdown in play. Leinster just beginning to get a little bit of skill. Look at the pitch cutting up as well, held at the back by Heaslip, hoping for the penalty. There it is, arriving now, and that pitch is in trouble as well. Still advantage to Leinster. playing with that advantage, playing still with the man advantage. Madigan sets it back, and Redden again against his former club. Feels the hit of Bradley Davis, but back they come for that penalty.
Well, I don't think the referee will have any trouble finding the mark. He knows exactly where the penalty is, because it's where the last scrum took place, and Leinster quite rightly holding the ball in here. Brian with Jamie Heaslip at the back, well within their rights. They know they're a man up.
It's funny, when the penalty advantage is given to Leinster here, from a back's perspective, they want that ball. What's the forward mentality when you're going forward like that? It's obviously you've got the penalty, but is it trying to drive home your advantage, or put a screw in the opposition's heads?
I think for me, once you know the referee's giving you the advantage, let the ball out and see whether he'll come back and give you the penalty afterwards.
It's got a freebie, right?
Give it a go with the backs for sure.
I'm worried about Coventry City's next home game there, but I understand that they're switching to the hybrid pitch at the end of the season here, which I mean is working so well at so many grounds now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this was put down in a bit of an emergency, this pitch, and it is what it is to the end of the season. It's not like the pitch we saw at the Millennium Stadium. You know, the groundsmen are already on the pitch now replacing. I'm sure it'll all be absolutely fine, and as you say, they'll go for the full hybrid version for next season.
So Madigan from some distance, almost 50 metres, and still Ashley Johnson just waiting at the side. He'll be on as soon as this kick is taken. Wide, so 4 points is still the difference as Ashley Johnson roars back on. Interesting to watch him over the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, you can see Madigan just put a little bit more into that kick. It's quite a long kick for him, and just pushed it towards that left hand upright, a little bit short.
And Dave Carney with the ice on the shoulder, courtesy of Ashley Johnson. So Johnson's back on, but Carney, I hope he's not out for too long. As we mentioned, not long back after a lengthy layoff. Heaslip. Redden complains, but he has the ball. A good drive in there from Ryan. Redden just delaying, having a look around, and Madigan pops it on. And Fitzgerald does a bit. There's Rob Carney. Madigan, a little spin. Carried on by Hooker Cronin. And penalty given away again by Wasps. Yeah, just not rolling away at the breakdown. They're trying to go for the choke tackle, but the danger of that with Hughes on Jacobs combining on that occasion, they fell the wrong side, and you've got to roll away quicker.
The referee has no sympathy for you anymore. If you're trapped in there, that's your problem. You've got to make every effort to get out of those tackle situations, and it's very difficult because you're locking in there hoping for a maul, and when he doesn't call it, then you're caught in that really uncompromising position.
Well, we're nearly 15 minutes into this game, and Wasps have just had no territory whatsoever to speak of. It's been all Leinster.
Captain,
quite obviously with the
focus on your game.
sin bin into Johnson, second shot at goal.
So I was looking forward to this sort of individual battle between Heaslip and Hughes as well as that, and I think certainly in the early exchanges Heaslip has been looking more impressive. They really are patching up that pitch down there. A more straightforward penalty attempt here for Ian Madigan. Veering away as well, and if the last one was perfectly excusable from some distance, that one a bit more of a mistake from Madigan, and a little bit of a wasted opportunities here for Leinster.
Yeah, no, he'll be disappointed. Madigan, he's been excellent with the kick. Just hooked that one.
Say an update from France and Castres. Harlequins are a try to the good there. Castro have been dreadful in this pool. And Harlequins, of course, still in with a chance, an outside chance, really, of going through as second place side. And a mistake there from Madigan again, from place kicking, and from Hanna as well, out on the full. Back they come.
Yeah, so not a great couple of minutes for the Leinster number 12. Just tried to do the reverse attack and just put a little bit too much on the kick.
I say with Johnny Sexton still out with that concussion protocol, and with Paddy Jackson injured, Madigan is likely to be the starting fly half for Ireland, even though he's playing 12 for Leinster at the moment. Haskell takes it down and just feeds it on to Johnson. And some good counter work there by Leinster, and they will have the ball.
Yeah, Leinster did fantastically well. Cittadini's complaining that the men came round offside and took him out early, but great work in that Leinster type 5, Devon Toner, I think, and Kane Douglas coming through, just getting the hands on the ball before Joe Simpson. Look at that, it's come through directly through the middle. Great work there. And having got possession from the line out, Wasps have just handed it straight back to Leinster.
Kane Douglas, a man of great experience, 14 caps for the Wallabies, and he did great work there in possession. Leinster dominating, but again they've just wasted a couple of scoring opportunities.
Yeah, Wasps have been nervous, if I'm honest. You know, it's a very nervy start from them. They've not played in games quite as big as this perhaps for a while, since the playoff against Stade Francais.
And Leinster with a chance again. And behind to Copper it goes, and a bit of speed injected now. Rob Carney is good, fanning outside, but Carney going on, and Christian Wade struggling in defence there against Carney. And all the ground that Leinster have made now into the 22, into the sunshine, and Madigan still going himself, and 4 black shots get back there, but up to within 2-3 metres of the line. Leinster charging on, looking for a second try. And it's quick ball, and the Wasp defence is smart now and can try and settle itself down as the play just slows. Redden taken just behind them by Dominic Ryan, still kept at bay. Leinster going for the width again now. Madigan tries to step inside and go himself. Again held just short. Fanning is in there, can he stretch? He too is repelled. Leinster so close. Gopperth trying to free it. He's up in there as well, shouting to the referee. At close quarters they take it, but still just short. Advantage, penalty coming to Leinster. Carney in there to get the ball. Carney trying to go himself. Still they can't get any closer. Dominic Ryan picks and goes. That Wasp defence is smart. The advantage still being played. Wide it comes down. Heaslett rather on his own. Still advantage, says the referee. The Wasp might be glad if they concede just 3 points here, though. Geordie Murphy does a bit, but Wasp's tackle still going. 12 phases. Leinster trying again. Rob Carney, Bondell gets him into touch. Back they will come for the penalty. No try. It's good Wasp defence. There was a little bit of illegality in there to concede the penalty, but ultimately not conceding a try was their aim.
Well, Leinster absolutely battering the Wasp line. 13 phases. As the referee's just explaining to James Haskell, they'll be delighted that it's only a penalty. Whether Leinster elect to go for the post, they are going to go for the post. But all started with the original line break. Straight from the scrum, Brian.
In equal measure, it was a fantastic attack play. That loop around play that we've seen Leinster do so many times, and Rob Carney takes a great option of just carrying himself and getting a 30-40 metre gain line, and sets up another opportunity for Ian Madigan to take it right to the line. But you know what, was similar to last week, their defence, their scramble defence has been exceptional. So really high quality attack play, but great defence too.
Yeah, it was indeed great defence play led by Haskell, but you just can't allow the likes of Carney so much space getting round on the outside. That was all of 40-50 metres in behind that Wasp defence, and after that you're always going to be under pressure.
Well, this is a very similar angle, just a little bit closer than the last one that Madigan just hooked a little bit. This one trying to get away from him as well, but inside the post it goes, and Leinster do at least have 3 points from that one, and their lead is out to 7 points. Let's have a word with Guy Easterby, the team manager of Leinster. And Guy, first of all, a bright start and beginning to take some of their chances as well.
Yeah, obviously I think the early sin binning, it was important that we took advantage of that, and to get that early try was important, but Wasps are obviously working their way back into the game. I think we probably had most pressure, field position, and we need to make it pay. And
just very quickly, any news on Dave Conway? We saw him icing his shoulder.
Yeah, so well, clearly we don't know the extent of it yet, but the shoulder injury from that original incident at the kick-off, you know.
Excellent, thank you very much, Guy.
No problem.
So Leinster with so much of the ball, so much possession, 7-point lead, the very least they would have hoped for there. Redden trying to sneak through with the largest dummy ever thrown. Some good handling as well, and Dominic Ryan coming forward again. He's in for Jack Conan, who has been playing well, but Dominic Ryan's been lively in the early exchanges. And Rob Miller, the Wasps fullback, gets that one at the second attempt, but a bit of a mistake. Ryan, come in.
Yeah, just looking at one or two of the penalties that Wasps have given away. The one we talked about where Ben Jacobs got caught on the wrong side. If we actually see, if he goes another phase, only 2 defenders on the blind side with one behind them and 5 attackers, so it was probably a good penalty to give away all the more because Ian Madigan went on to miss it.
Tell you, Wasps, you know, you can excuse them being down a man, but they've been very, very sloppy.
Castro scored a try, quelling my astonishment at that, but Harlequins are now level in that game in France. And Leinster again is laying siege to this Wasps defence, which is having to work so hard.
Well, they're putting themselves under pressure, Andrew. Mistake by Rob Miller is allowing Leinster straight back onto the front foot.
Haskell loitering. And Carney, let pass go forward. The crowd say so, but McFadden has it, scorer of the try. There's a Bent, takes it in. And Leinster come again with the ball deep to Madigan. And Fitzgerald is there and he spills it in the contact, and Miller can clear, and then they just come for that scrum.
That'd be a welcome scrum for Wasps. They've just been very sloppy initially off the kick-off. They allowed Leinster around that guard area to get themselves precious yards, as we see Simpson making the tackle and stripping the ball at the same time from Luke Fitzgerald. Just feel Wasps haven't really come out the changing room at all. Look at this. We saw how many tackles they made, over 200 against Harlequins last week. They're already 23 minutes into the game, up to 54 tackles. Cannot afford to give a side with the quality that Leinster have. So much possession, so much territory, so much phase play.
But not only that, Lawrence, they've had a massive defensive game the previous week. You know, they're going to be sore bodies. I'd imagine they didn't do a whole lot of training this week. So you can't have 2 of those defensive performances in successive weeks. Just takes too much of a toll on the body.
Well, famous figures there. So Brad Thorne, Simon Easterby. It's Brad Thorne's wearing some knitwear which softens his image slightly.
Just looking at another opportunity in Madigan. He's got to throw that pass out to Luke Fitzgerald out wide on the wing. Don't know what sort of chat he's getting, but there's definite 5-pointer. The way the conversions have gone so far, possible 7-pointer. You've got to take those opportunities because you don't know what's going to come second half.
And just after that, there's another little bite by Fanning there, tried to go over with a bit of try line fever. You know, again with a couple of men outside him, and you know, Easterby was saying on the touchline there, you've got to make that advantage, telling all the territory in possession.
Well, it's a big weekend of rugby, no doubt about that, and a lot of it here on BT Sport as well. BT Sport 2 HD tomorrow, Bath against Glasgow at the Rec, and all the highlights as well of today's matches shown before that in Clermont against Saracens, also tomorrow 3 o'clock on BT Sport 2 HD. And then we'll have the draw for the semi-finals, and one of these sides will know the routes they have. And at the moment it does look like Leinster, but certainly Wasps have the capability to turn it around. Let's see how this scrum goes.
Just saying, a bit of strapping to Owen Redding's knee there. That doesn't look too comfortable. We'll just see how he works out over the next few minutes.
Looks like a strapping job I would have done myself.
I was going to say, a bit of DIY that, isn't it?
Free kick given to Wasps, and Nathan Hughes calling for the ball quickly.
Yeah. Inside, good inside. Stability, guys.
The free kick, normally be interested to see Wasps just put this to touch and just try and compete on the opposition line out and just give themselves a bit of respite.
So that's a good boot from Andy Goods. Harlequins have taken the lead in France, second try there, and so they're up against Castor. Again, Quins have not yet given up their thoughts of making it through to the quarterfinals, but they need to be one of the best runners-up. 3 of the runners-up go through, and 5 pool winners. Clean line out from Leinster. Again, keep an eye on Redden, who is heavily strapped now. It's a good offload to Heaslip and Leinster. Coming again, Devon Toner just stoops into the challenge, huge man. Back it comes deep to Rob Carney, looks over Christian Wade, who takes it down nicely. Hasn't really had a chance to get the ball and have an attack, Christian Wade. That's a decent nudge as well.
He's put in a very nice kick. I think his pace really helped him out there, Carney. Trying to put the ball in just behind him, but he's so quick, he's able to recover and make a nice catch, and pretty decent effort with the kick. Such an exciting player, Christian Wade. We haven't seen anything of him yet in this game, and Wasps will want to secure that possession and try and bring him into the game. Such a difficult player to tackle.
9 white.
Yeah, Redden is off. He tried that phase of play, that passage of play, and no good. So Isaac Boss will come on. Again, a pretty good replacement. Getting on a bit now, but huge experience.
Yeah, it didn't surprise us that really. When you see a player who has that much strapping put to his knee, you know there's something wrong with it, and that's unfortunate for Owen Redden. So instrumental to the tempo and pace that Leinster like to play with, Brian.
Well, he's been so good in the Cass game and the Quins game. He came off the bench and probably swung the momentum of those games, so a huge loss.
That's a wonderful take by Wade with a challenge coming in from Dara Fanning. There's 2 big players to have lost fairly early on in Dave Carney and Owen Redden. Begins to stretch the bench. There's a charge come from Devon Toner, a hard man to get the ball over. McFadden waiting for this one, and he and Vandell just watch.
Just watching the backfield there, the Leinster back 3 were working fantastically in a pendulum. Sorry, we'll come to that in a second. The carry from Jordy Murphy, he's a small guy, but he gets great gain line. I think he probably catches people off guard because he's not that physically imposing. But you know what, a 5-10 metre gain line against a guy like Hughes, winning those collisions, that's going to be key to Leinster.
Yeah, really important tap tackle it was in the end by Hughes.
So line out again for Leinster. Works. A bit of attention from the Wasps defence, but straight through the middle, and here they come now through Jordy Murphy. Gets it on to Madigan, but he had attention from Elliot Daly. But look at the ground again, Leinster have made, and Rob Carney skipping infield. And Wasps suddenly into rather desperate defence once again. And the penalty is coming to Leinster again, so they'll try a drop goal attempt to nothing. It was hideous, they'll come back for the penalty.
Well, it's the same old, isn't it? Another Leinster light break. They're just carving what's open. It's going to be more than that. Referee's had enough. Cittadini sent to the sin bin for not rolling away quick enough from that breakdown.
I mean, that must be hugely frustrating for Dai Young to watch, because Ashley Young comes back on and then 10 minutes later Cittadini's off.
And I must say, that's it's hugely unusual to see a referee give a yellow card that far out, but he felt that Leinster had got him behind yet again, and he felt he was deliberately slowing the ball down.
You know, we talked about the penalty that Ben Jacobs gave away. It's probably just a culmination. He probably had a quiet word with Haskell and said, listen, no more penalties, and front rower got caught in this occasion. Well, no great surprise there.
The problem Cittadini had is he's trying to roll away, but you've got to come out to the side. He's actually rolled himself back into the scrum half, and you're inviting trouble from the referee. So real trouble for Wasps.
So Gopperth now Well, it wasn't the prettiest, but it's through, and Leinster stretch their lead. The reason he was taking the kick is Ian Madigan is down having some treatment. He's back on his feet now, and Cheetadini is in the very comfy but naughty chair.
Well, I have to say, I mean, this game is good, hard enough for Wasps, but they make it extremely hard for themselves trying to play the game with 60 minutes.
Well, the crowd are doing all they can inside the Ricoh Arena for their side, but Wasps are rather gifting opportunities to Leinster. And Fanning can scoop that one up. Boss. And Devin Toner. There's Gopperth. Huge stump as he made contact with that one. Andy Good waiting for it. McFadden lined him up, but Good was quick enough to get the ball away to Rob Miller. And somebody is bootless. A penalty now to Wasps. And Joe Simpson is called back.
Yeah, this time Cronin is protesting his innocence, but he never really got behind the back foot.
Offside in the road.
Just a little bit overly enthusiastic to try and pick Wasps' pocket there.
Joe Simpson very quick to summon on the physio there. It's almost as if he's tweaked something. Oh, you see him struggling there already. Something to do with ribs.
Never on side.
Yeah, Rob Miller takes the ball in. Yeah, he's just hurt himself. I don't know whether it's his wrist or his hand that he's gone in awkwardly.
Well, they want Joe Simpson to get back in there because they're relying on Elliot Daly, who's playing outside centre at the moment as scrum half cover.
Well, it's the same.
Yeah, Rob Miller does very well to get the ball down as we see Simpson went in. Elliot Daly thinking might be me a little bit earlier.
Just a look at the replacements for Wasps. You see they're heavy on the forwards, 6 forwards, 2 backs in Azowski and Mazzi. No scrum half cover. They are running rather thin on number 9s with injuries at the moment, so Daly would come in.
In the meantime, while all these Wasps players are getting a bit of treatment to that man, Joe Simpson, Andy Good's lining up the penalty.
So Good then. That's a good kick. Wonderful kick from Andy Good. That'll give a big boost to Wasps because they haven't had too many opportunities inside the Leinster half, and a rare opportunity there, and it brings 3 points.
Well, they'll be absolutely delighted. They've been totally outplayed in this game. With 13-6, 2 men in the sin bin, one still got over 6 minutes serving Cheetadini. They'll be thrilled to bits.
And from a Leinster perspective, you know, they'll want to get another 3, 5, 7 on the board to account for their absolute dominance in this first half.
Yeah, still a long way to go in that sin binning. And again, McFadden just lining up his man Elliot Daly. They're going to have to work hard to get out of the danger area here. Hughes. The counter-rucking from Leinster, but Wasps still with it. And a penalty now to the home side.
Yeah, I think the Wasps players are just waiting a little bit too long for the referee's whistle to go. They've got to help themselves there and get those Leinster players off the breakdown. Dai Young talked about the breakdown area as being an area where Leinster in the opening game over in Dublin caught them unawares and really won the contact area, and it seems like they're doing exactly the same in the first half an hour of this game.
That's a decent kick from Andy Good off this penalty.
Just sheer weight of numbers there, you know, the Wasps players standing around waiting for someone else to do it.
Leinster themselves just need to be careful. It's a couple of penalties. I know it's down in the Wasps red zone, but the referees have a habit of trying to balance yellow cards up, so another 1 or 2 of them, we could see one in Leinster's favour.
5 minutes to go in the sin binning for Cheetadini, and the man who sin binned earlier on, Ashley Johnson, takes it in for Wasps. And as Simpson looks to be fit after his dig in the ribs, and McFadden waiting, and takes it, and then takes the thump from Nathan Hughes.
Well, the ball is here. Back.
So Boss on for Redden, gets the back line going again. Goes to Dara Fanning, good strength. it goes deep to Gopperth, over the head of Van Dell. Nicely placed kick.
There's a nice little set play there from Leinster, beg your pardon. They went one way, and then they had a nice screen on Gopperth the kick. A couple of the forward runners, Brian just coming forward, and then Gopperth able to put the kick in behind Van Dell.
And what they also did was they dropped back they dropped back a pod quite wide, so it encouraged Van Dell to come forward because he looked as though there were numbers down, drew him forward and then put the nudge in behind them.
Actually, they'll lose it if it were to finish at 13-6. I'm pretty sure it won't. Wasps would get a losing bonus point, which would sneak them into the top 8, would get them through. And as it stands, but a long way to go.
Yeah, Leinster just trying to put real pressure on that Wasps driving line out. Simpson.
Oh, he's done well after that little fumble, but actually went forward, so scrum to Leinster, and they are not helping themselves, Wasps.
Well, you give Leinster credit there. They're really putting pressure through that Wasps line out. They saw how effective the drive can be for Wasps, and that's just a mistake from Simpson. Just looking at perhaps some of the blockers coming through, just took his eye off the ball.
Let's go, guys.
Not going to help those possession stats, which are looking like a car crash for Wasps at the moment. 83% possession and pretty similar on the territory.
That's Jake Cooper-Woolley, who came through the Harlequins Academy. He's coming on now and replacing a back rower, so just a change that will be forced by the sin binning for Cittadini. Have to have the front rows obviously on for the scrum, so Hughes will be back.
Yeah, Wasps will just want to Jake Cooper-Woolley just to put that right side up and just try and close down the options a little bit for this Leinster scrum.
Nothing much giving way there on either side. The pitch is again, and Boss pointing and barking at the referee, but here come Leinster, and that's again good power from McFadden, and made 15 metres or so there in space now for Leinster. Carney, two minutes remaining of that sin binning. Can Leinster take advantage again of the extra man? Wide it comes, good hands, and once again it's McFadden standing up his man and hauled down 3 metres short. Leinster again knocking at the door. Cronin is there. Last time Wasps held firm. Heaslip almost straight through Ben Jacobs, and Boss just delays and then gives it on to Michael Bent, and the prop is kept at bay. The ball's still there for Leinster. Heaslip himself meets Haskell, captain against captain, and rolling ever closer Leinster to a second try. Over the line, not quite. Inches away from a second, and a little reach, and that looked to be on the line. Try, cry Leinster. Look at the screen, says Madigan, which they may well do in a moment. Back they come. May there be a more clear-cut try. It's Gopperth. He gets there now, the arm stretched out, but the referee was just the other side of the posts. But he's celebrating, and that does look like another try for Leinster.
Two calls.
Well, if it's not the Gopperth try,
I don't know if it's a call.
it might be the try before. They're going to have a look twice. That's exactly what Jamie Heaslip's asking the referee.
Two calls. The
He's got
first
two
one
calls.
is about here. Is it a try, yes or no, Hervé? And because I'm not sure, I play, and I'm not sure about the other try.
It'll be easier if the two Frenchmen spoke French to each other, but Hervé double the TMO. I mean, one of these.
Yeah. He's sure what he's not sure about. That's both tries.
Exactly. So there's the first one. Well, we've just...
First one looks short.
I mean, it's just been one-way traffic, a complete barrage. That looks short, pretty sure, Brian. But it's this second one that the Leinster team are much more convinced about. Of course, only has to touch any part of the whitewash and it's a try, but...
you know, it probably is touching a bit of the whitewash there, but you can't give that. But the it's all immaterial, really, because I think the second one will be given. Well, give it here. Bad luck, Jimmy Gopperth. The first try is given. And so Leinster have their their try, and they really are beginning to assert themselves now. Again, this second period of a man down for Wasps has cost them dear.
Well, dare I say it, you know, Wasps were outstanding in defence against Harlequins, but their defence has been all over the show on this outing against Leinster in the first half. Leinster winning every single one of these collisions. Wasps not able to meet them on the gain line, and when you let this Leinster side in behind you, it's just battering away until the try eventually came.
Not the prettiest conversion from Madigan, but it sails through, and 20 points up. Good initial break by McFadden, set up the position.
Yeah, it's just it's just phase after phase. They're just winning so many of the collisions, as we see.
Well, that
looked like a more clear-cut try.
There we go. That was the try that never was for Jimmy Goffer after the earlier one, which we'll have a look at in a moment. But Wasps really have to hit back now. Can they get anything just before half-time? Little chip through Vandel trying to get onto this, and the crowd think that McFadden was lurking with intent and putting a block on the winger. Play on, says Jérôme Garcés. So Elliot Daly now. Jacobs gives it on, lovely hands from Johnson to Christian Wade. And Wade, he has his speed, has a bit of strength there as well. Near enough the last passage of play in this half. And the Leinster's defence, just in the very dying moments of this first half, being tested almost for the first time.
Tell you the difference there. The line speed of Leinster is different class at the moment to Wasps.
Good work right there. He gives it on to Christian Wade, a little bit of space out wide, has to come back in field. Well, they'll have the penalty coming, so they will have something just before half-time. Andy Goods skipping in field, and back they come for the penalty. The crowd felt that more was coming for them there. And we're going to have a yellow card.
Well, as Brian said, the referee is all about consistency now. He's decided that too many Leinster penalties.
So the man going off is Kane Douglas, so he'll be off for the first 10 minutes of the second half. So there's something to cling to for Wasps, and the fact that they're probably about to get 3 more points.
Well, and some of the best players come through that man, Christian Wade again. They got the ball to him twice. He's able to slip tackles and get in behind the Leinster defence. So we see a hit on Johnson. That's possibly what the yellow card was for, actually, not anything else. Bit of retribution. Late tackle on Johnson, no arm.
Something that's really going to annoy your coach. You know, Matt O'Connor will be fuming, want to get in with a 14-point lead, you know, an advantage of a number on the pitch, regroup for half-time and go again in the second half, and he's gone and lost a player. That's really silly play.
So can Andy Goods nibble away at that lead? Oh. Well, that is rare mistake, a big mistake from Andy Goods. So they will have 10 minutes of Kane Douglas off for Leinster at the start of the second half, but that was a chance missed for Wasps at the end, and the lead is 4. The final instructions to his Leinster side in the huddle, because they have to be strong, as mentioned. Kane Douglas off for the next 10 minutes after a silly infringement just before half-time, but Wasps had their fair share of that. Ashley Johnson with a very quick sin binning, and then Lorenzo Cittadini, the prop, who's back on. Johnson for his challenge, and Dave Carney there, who cuts a very glum figure, unfortunately, with ice on his shoulder. After that, I found out that it was, I think, Nick Wood, the Gloucester punt rower. He was the only other player to have been sin binned in the first minute of a European match as well. That's courtesy of Stuart Farmer, the king of rugby stats. But the only stat that matters here is 26 is the scoreline, and it's 15 against 14 men. Wasps have to produce something.
Well, I'm sure they would have got a stern talking to by Di Young and by Brad Davis, their defence coach. Wasps, for me, as well as Leinster have played, are just unrecognisable from the side that we've seen in the last few weeks.
Another reminder of changes in personnel as well. Owen Redden was off for Leinster. He was replaced by Isaac Voss as Good takes the hit coming in from Rob Carney, and there is Ashley Johnson. And the other change, of course, was Dara Fanning coming on in the wing for Dave Carney after that very, very early hit. Madigan, deft little chip, and it bounces nicely for him, can't quite take it, into a big wall of Johnson.
Oh, it was a lovely little chip from Madigan, wasn't it? It just, Simpson, the sweeper, the scrum half, looked like he'd done everything, but he just allowed it to bounce. And when you do that, it nearly works so well for Madigan. He's been at the heart of everything good for Leinster in attack.
He's just not a guy that plays percentages, you know. He loves the little tricks, he loves the little shows, the small bits of skill that he has. His repertoire is full of tiny little bits of magic. So, you know, he's a pleasure to watch. Sometimes he's a bit of a frustration to play outside when he's a 10 and you want the commander. But you know, no doubt in his unbelievable talent.
Kane Douglas more suitably scowling on the sideline. He's the one who has to wait and watch now. His sin binning.
Well, we saw the first penalties going to Leinster at scrum time, and now it's Wasps that respond. Funny, isn't it? The extra man, pretty obvious to me when you get the extra man in the bin, and certainly when he's from the engine room, you're always going to be under the pump. And Wasps take full advantage.
Straight, under pressure.
So Andy Good, who had that uncharacteristic missed penalty just before half-time, finds touch.
Hopefully both sides have worked out that if you keep all your men on the field, your scrum goes a lot better and your team tends to play a lot better. So can't promise it'll be the last man into the bin, but we hope it will.
Earl Groundsman is on, repairing the turf again. Andy Good, 33 points scored in that game against London Irish, which had 28,000 or so in here watching. There we are. It's not an easy job today.
No, but the news is that he's going to have to score a few more if Wasps are to overcome this Leinster side.
Long and a mistake. And their scrum and their line-out has been great this season so far, Wasps, but they're up against it again here now, giving it away, and on comes Luke Fitzgerald, looking for Fanning outside, then carrying it on himself. And suddenly on the back foot again, the home side, even against 14 men. Isaac Boss done pretty well and watched eventually by his opposite number Joe Simpson. Devon Toner carries now, offloads nicely, and Leinster into the 22.
Really smart play from Leinster. They're attacking Wasps right deep into each side of the breakdown.
Boss is down the blind side and Cronin is there. Just keeping it tight at the moment, Leinster. They are a man down, Kane Douglas in the bin. But here they come again. Fitzgerald doing his bit.
Pretty solid Wasps defence so far, but Leinster really probing away.
Heaslip now, laid back comfortably enough. Replacement scrum half Boss gets them going again. Bit of space out wide in Carney and Pettigan field. Fadden is there. Can he get over that line? So close. Once more, looking for the third try, but the interfering runner there gives away the penalty. A bit of a mistake at the end from Leinster.
It was there for Leinster. They'd already done the hard work. They'll be very, very frustrated. They are absolutely battering Wasps. They looked like they had the man on the overlap on the outside, and Wasps able to relieve the pressure.
Let's get some news from Craig down pitch side.
Yeah, Andrew, really just the messages at half-time from the directors of rugby, from Di Young, who was saying, lads, you know, you can't keep defending in your own half for the next 40 minutes. Get the ball down into the Leinster's half and just start trying to play some rugby down there. Remember, Wasps have to win this game. As for Leinster, Guy used to be said, they got to manage the next 10 minutes with Kane Douglas in the bin, and after that, more of the same, please. And I suppose that's exactly what they've done in the opening minutes of this second half.
Certainly, so close even to a try down a man. At the moment, the line-out works nicely enough for Wasps, but they have to get some territory. That's a lovely offload from Hughes and carried on there by Jacobs. And suddenly creeping into the Leinster half, and there will be space out wide now. Andy Good gets it moving now, and Wasps beginning to make some progress, and Wade was calling for it, but the ball spilled, and Leicester spared.
Absolutely exceptional defence from Luke Fitzgerald there. Andy Good probably didn't challenge him enough. and he just stayed off, and then made a clinching tackle on Elliot Daly. Fantastic 13 play.
Yeah, it's great play. Great initial break from Wasps. That just shows you the power of that back row. You've got the likes of Ashley Johnson that made the initial pass from the line out, then fed Nathan Hughes. Look at this, Johnson onto Hughes. This is what they've been doing all season. Then feeds Ben Jacobs, and Wasps get in behind. Just felt there was numbers, but they just needed to straighten up. Let's have a look at this. As Brian said, he just turns his shoulders out, Fitzgerald, and ushers Andy Goode to the outside, and he gives the pass too early, Brian.
And Andy Goode just he has to keep him honest. He's got to run at his inside shoulder and square him up. He didn't manage to do that through the pass, and Luke Fitzgerald, having backed off, is then able to make a big impact.
As you were saying, Lawrence, just a hint of what Wasps have been doing. This is not revelatory here. They scored 25 tries in the last 6 games, so that they can do it.
Well, no, but what they have to do is hold on to the ball, and they've had scant possession. And every time they've had the ball, they've gifted it back to Leinster, and the same again on this occasion.
Yeah, only 7% of the game has been spent in the Leinster 22. They are on the fringes of it now, but it's Leinster's ball. They're still down a man, Leinster, with Kane Douglas off, but this scrum is looking okay from their point of view. And Madigan with Fitzgerald adding a little bit of support. And back it comes to Rob Carney. It's a healthy boot on that, and waiting for it, Rob Miller. And Miller gives it to Van Dal. Tom Van Dal making some good progress. And Good again over the head and on to Jacobs once more, and there is Ashley Johnson. Carried on by Gaskell. Good once again, gives it deep, and there is Christian Wade. Tries to scuttle his way around to a roar from the crowd. Strong work from Nathan Hughes again. Wade leaves it to Simpson, and Good gives it deep once more. And here comes Ashley Johnson, huge brute of a man, making some ground. And again, now a chance, a real chance for Wasps. Simpson with a little 1-2 and skips inside, 4 metres short. And the noise inside this arena grows again as Wasps make their first real challenge on the Leinster line. There are men out wide, it's floated, it's Van Dal. Van Dal still going, Van Dal, but no try, no try. The celebration's premature because he had a man running interference for him again. And the crowd, the flags will stop waving and the boos will grow instead because Van Dal denied. And the crowd will disagree, but I think rightly so.
Well, let's just have a look at this. It's crossing he's been done for. I think it's obstruction. The Wasps worked that opportunity really, really well. Great break from Simpson. The ball goes wide here. Oh, that looks pretty tough.
Actually.
If I was a Wasp fan, I'd have every reason to be pretty annoyed at that. Luke Fitzgerald decides that Nathan Hughes is the one that's going to get the ball and commits to the tackle.
I have to say, I think Luke Fitzgerald has done himself a favour by running into Nathan Hughes there.
Made a canny game, Fitzgerald. The arms were up, and
good luck to him. He's won the referee over on that one. I think Van Dal with a handoff would have got there easy.
Ordinarily, referees don't like the flailing arms, but they've worked a treat on this occasion.
Well, such a big overlap as well. They had numbers out there, so in the end a real wasted opportunity.
Well, certainly didn't need to go that big long pass, could have just got there through the hands, but it just shows you what Wasps are capable of, and it's Leinster now that have got some defending to do. They've put the ball out on the full. Wasps will be encouraged, even though they didn't score, that they can now exert some pressure down in the red zone, as they call it, but it could have just gone through the hands.
And a huge decision, that one, because a try there and suddenly it was right back in the game. And now Kane Douglas is back on, Leinster back to a full complement. So Jerome Garces, he was fairly clear on it, didn't go to the TMO, he saw it himself and felt it was the right decision. He will have protection to escape from the Reef Arena. Wasps still though with a chance, and there's Ben Jacobs again. Madigan rather getting in the way, and the crowd are getting involved in this match now. But Leinster have the penalty. Not gone out well.
Much to the disapprove of the crowd. The Wasp crowd are saying they wanted the penalty earlier on for the man obstructing Simpson from getting the ball, and You've got to say, Dai Young looks a bit quizzical. Don't think there was any doubt that the Wasps runner there got isolated. Leinster got in over the ball. You just see here Simpson feeding the runner. And he just gets isolated. Good tackle, good defence. That's no problem from Heaslip. That's the penalty. But perhaps a breakdown earlier could have been won against Leinster.
And Madigan celebrates, and perhaps the storm for now has been weathered, because Leinster back into the Wasps half, and Toner takes it down nicely and held there by Jordy Murphy, and when it goes through Boss and Heaslip. And Gopper spins away well. Good strength from the fly half. Now Leinster beginning to make some decent ground.
Yeah, it's much better line speed though, Andrew, this time from Wasps. Certainly had a stern word.
Penalty conceded again by Wasps.
Well, that one, I think Leinster have been very, very canny there. James Haskell doth protest. He's saying, I'm trying to roll away. They're kicking me back into the ruck. What can I do?
Trying to have a look at Jamie Heaslip. I think it's Jamie Heaslip here. He's the one using the smarts. James Haskell is trying his best to roll away from this tackle, but he's just held in there. I think, yeah, it's Heaslip and it's Marty Moore, and he's got him grabbed by the scrum cap and a little knee on him to boot.
That's a tough one, but you've got to react to the way the referee is refereeing the game, and with the Cittadini yellow card, which was harsh in the first half, and to Leinster as well for not rolling away. These players have got to be under no illusions. If you're on the wrong side in any situation, it's going to be a penalty.
And a lot of it at this stage of a competition, which is effectively knockout, comes down to the experience. We talked about Leinster's experience, even with some old fogies retiring, they've still got some experienced guys in there. Madigan now, and that one just drifts away, so no more there for Leinster.
Well, I think we just saw Wasps have that moment. The turning point possibly could be for them, and just not getting awarded that try. When they go down in that Leinster's half, they've got to come away with some points.
Yes, I think that will be a talking point certainly after much that no try for Vandel. And Andy Good goes for real distance from the restart, and Rob Carney waits. And Christian Wade takes it. Rob Carney, was that Wade in the air? You see the crowd again say yes, but Wasps with the ball. And Johnson again, linking again well with Nathan Hughes. Wasps certainly having more time on the ball. Vandel again. And some fierce bumps coming in there, and it goes only to Murphy and on. Leinster with it, quick hands, but back they come.
And the referee touch is coming in. Whether it's late tackles, I think he's got his eyes on. Let's just have a look. We might try and talk in English, we can listen to this.
Il y a un plaquage sans ballon, il n'a pas le ballon, il va le percuter.
Tackle without the ball, Lawrence.
Ouais,
The old plaquage sans ballon. Classic.
Mighty relief for Wasps.
In fairness to Wasps, I think they're playing with a lot more adventure in this half. A good call by the referee, Devin Toner, just a fraction early. But as I was saying, just Wasps are throwing the pass, they're trying those little tip-ons, getting soft shoulders, and then getting a few balls out of contact as well. What they have to do to get a couple of scores.
And I think, Brian, for me, they're just up with the pace of the game again. The intensity that they're defending with, the way that they're attacking. They've actually woken up, because they weren't around for the first half.
Now, Harlequins are at least guaranteed a bonus point. Fourth try, winning 28-14 in thick snow down there in Castro, we're told. So they're doing all they can, Harlequins. They just have to hope for the best. But here it is more clear-cut. You win, you are through. Wasps. Can they take something from this adventure into the Leinster half? Held at the back there by Ashley Johnson. Making good ground. And Johnson's still going. And Simpson, ball goes loose, but picked up nicely, and the drive comes on from Mullen. And good work as well from the replacement prop, Cooper Woolley. And Wasps getting closer and closer. They have to take their chances soon. Vandel coming in off his left wing. Defensive work is strong from Dara Fanning. Simpson in quickly to get that, but look where they are now. Wasps back outside the 22. Haskell. Again, sharp defensive work there from Boss. Might have injured himself in the process.
That's good defence. They came in, they looked the numbers there, Leinster. They came in from the outside and shut the pass off.
So Wasps have to try and do it all again. 6 phases in. Andy Wood, Wade trying to jig out of trouble, but Madigan and Fitzgerald like twins today upon him. Bradley Davis. Oh, a quiet game so far for the Welsh second row. Haskell, Wasps with all the ball, but they're creeping back down towards their own half. Gaskell gives it on to Elliot Daly. This is great defence from Leinster. Mullen tries again. And Ben Jacobs, nothing doing there. 12 phases. No ground made, ground lost in fact.
Just making a mess of the breakdown as well, Leinster. Not only are they tackling aggressively.
Still with Wasps. Haskell. Andy Good again, once again goes deep to Jacobs and on to Daly through quick hands, but behind Vandel, and he scoops it forward and the ball is lost, and all those phases to no avail for Wasps.
Yeah, they just panicked a little bit there, Wasps. It was very much on for them. That was the quicker ball that they got. Perhaps got themselves a little bit flat, but just panicked, and Jacobs looks to have hurt himself. Pass was definitely on, maybe Vandel slightly overrun.
In his defence, I think there is tremendous defence from Fergus McFadden here, but this is a vastly improved Wasps in the second half. They're taking Leinster back through phases after phase, and if you watch Andy Good, he's not going into every phase himself, and maybe he needs to get involved a little bit more. He seems to be organising things, but needs to back it up a little bit by getting his hands on the ball through 3-4 consecutive phases.
And you just feel, as you say, Brian, it is much better from Wasps, but they just need that little bit more patience, I think, in the attacking game. They've had such precious little ball in attack, they're almost forcing it.
Just a point that you were talking about, Lawrence, with the missed pass that we saw earlier on, the try that wasn't. Andy Good throws a great ball out to Elliot Daly, and if you actually look at the numbers, it's a really simple 4-on-2. That's got to go through the hands. A dream for a defender is a missed pass there. Gives you time to push out and gets Luke Fitzgerald in the point to be able to show some sort of tackle on Nathan Hughes.
Well, I mean, especially when you look at it again, you see the pass outside Andy Good was Christian Wade. I mean, you get the ball into his hands, a couple of yards from the line, it wouldn't have needed to go any further.
The changes made by Wasps.
Keep walking like this.
Kuhn Mile is on, and they're getting changes ready, other changes ready. He's on in the second row for Gaskell, packing down alongside Bradley Davis. So pool 2 as it stands, Harlequins would finish second with that bonus point in Castor. They would see if that, they still rely on some other results, but Leinster would be sailing through. Castor not doing quite so well.
Under pressure, boys.
Yeah, this is a really it's a decent contest now. Leinster obviously well ahead on the scoreboard, but it's a very even contest for the first time in the game.
Let's go, Maddie, let's go, BT. Get on rocks.
Just looking at the group there, in fairness to Quins, they've got themselves an outside chance. They had to get to 18 points, they knew that. Credit to them, they've gone and gotten their 4 tries.
Done what they can do now.
They have to wait on other results.
I know we point out put-ins to the scrum, but that was absurd.
Tell you what. Mind you, that is straight in club rugby in France, I'll give you that.
Rob Miller, it's the other change for Wasps in the front row. Carlo Festuccia, the Italian hooker, is on for Ed Shervington. I'd quite like to have another look at that put-into that scrum there, just for comic value. Right, Wade, 14 points adrift Wasps. They certainly have had their chances in this second half.
Nicely slowed down. Wasps are going to have to regenerate now.
Matt Mullen, and a good break by the man who was a fixture in the England squad in November. And Nathan Hughes again making the break, looking for the upward. Miller's there, and Wasps again. So much more time spent in the Leinster 22. Simpson looking for options outside. The new man on is Mile. Just looking for that bit more pace on the ball. Hughes picks up. Takes on 3 or 4 white shirts, but that's good defensive work by Leinster. But a penalty for Wasps.
It's got to be...
The reason is...
referee could be thinking about another card there.
No, because...
It's what James Haskell's asking him. Saying this
it's not intentional. He was on the floor, the ball
wasn't
right
intentional, the referee's saying, but
you know, the
was probably their best period of pressure in the game.
Play the ball on
you have to feel this one will get tucked into the corner now. And the crowd will get right behind them. They need points from this sortie.
Well, it has to be into the final quarter now. And still 2 converted tries adrift, so we need something now. Just making another change, so Carlo Festuccia being told to wait because Rob Miller is going off and there's Andrea Mazzi on.
We'll split the line out 3 and 3 with Ashley Johnson. Managed to get it just about under control. That was good work.
So the crowd cry heave and the Wasps make their round. They're hoping not to go sideways towards that touchdown. They go. Can they get it over? Is the ball down? Just short. Still looking for it. Festuccia trying to free it. Festuccia goes himself.
Great defense.
And Wasps, they need this now. Hughes tries to make it. Haskell in there. All through the forwards and Davis.
It's all men to the barricade here for Leinster.
Haskell, he's just held short. Leinster complain as Worcester. Wasps go again this time. Almost looked to have that ball over, but is it down? The referee says, try to Wasps. He had a long look, but Wasps have their try eventually, and they're back in this match.
Well, that was extraordinary, wasn't it? Wasps going wave after wave, just round the corner, round the corner, round the corner. The referee blew the whistle, seemingly for the scrum, but then decided he'd seen enough and the ball was down.
Nothing more than they deserved. That's been the last 5 minutes. They've been the only team in this game, and as much as Leinster's scramble defence has been very good, they were looking to hold them out on the initial drive.
Just have a look at this.
That's a great second effort if that gets in.
Well, I think it's Matt Mullen that's been credited with the try, isn't it, Andrew? And it's that he's got a bit of help from his friends because he's managed to stay on his feet there, and that's fantastic strength, and got the ball down on the second occasion. Can't see it from that angle, but clearly the ball is down.
Well, referee Jerome Garces was very, very well placed indeed. He feels that he could see it. Big conversion this from Andy Good. And it is good. The Wasps are back within a converted try. 17 and a half minutes to go. And the black and gold flags wave here, and they have hope again.
I do like the referees that have the wherewithal to make a decision, there and then, not have to go to TMO. I think too often we see them go to TMO when it seems like a clear try. He had a good view of it, and he went with his gut.
Marty Moore is off, and Tadhg Furlong is on. There he is. One of the youngsters coming through for Leinster. And a game on.
It's certainly given this crowd something to cheer about.
Wade takes it down well. Just a glimpse of his speed, but into Heaslip, who tries to rip that ball away.
And he gets it very successfully.
Yeah, that's great work by Heaslip. And so Leinster with the position and the ball.
Again, it's just the basics from Wasps. Win the kick-off, get yourself back down there. They've been stripped to the ball, and Leinster right back on the attack.
I think as well, some people questioned what Jamie Heaslip does at times. His workload is phenomenal. He does those small little things in defence that can be the difference.
Thought the referee was going to go back for a little knock-on from Leinster, but the touch judge just let that one go.
And Boss gets them going again.
Red form! Red form, stay.
It's important for Wasps to keep their defensive discipline here. And this time it's Leinster that throw the forward pass, and a lot of that might have been the line speed being maintained by this Wasps defence.
Well, let's get a word with Brad Davis, Wasps defence coach, because they are coming back into the game, Wasps, but just have to tighten things up a little bit, Brad.
Yeah, I think we are doing a lot of our good work when we've got some good field position by a few unforced errors, and that was really relevant in the first 40 minutes. We've built into the game. We've had better territory, better possession of the ball, and we needed to get this game back to a one-score game. We've managed to do that. Now it's a case of maybe putting the squeeze on Leinster a little bit, and we can see what they're made of.
And Brad, yeah, the line speed in the second half, you must be very happy with that, because it looks much improved defensively.
Yeah, I think we obviously the first 40, Lawrence, we put ourselves under a lot of pressure with unforced errors, and any time a Leinster side can occupy your 22, you know you're going to be under the pump a little bit. But we've got a little bit more into this arm wrestle a little bit, where line speed off the touchline, the 15-metre lines is doing well, and we've tidied up our discipline in the breakdown.
Brad, thank you very much indeed. So we look forward to the final 15 minutes here. 7 points in it. I see changes as well coming in the Leinster side, so that Jamie Heaslip is off, replaced by Jack Conan, who has been impressive in the back row for Leinster in recent games. And Northampton Racing is coming up after this one. 3 o'clock, that is the decider really, in Pool 5. And that's here on BT Sport 1 HD. But still all to be decided here as well. 15 minutes to go. Scrum down. What's the decision? Play away, says the referee, and Simpson has it. And Varnell pointing the way for the little kick, and he gets it now. He saw there was space. But eventually read well enough by Rob Carney. And he does well to keep it alive for Leinster and keep it in play. Jimmy Gopper
Did exceptionally well there under pressure from Varnell.
I didn't know his capabilities. I would have said there was a bit of a speculative one, but
up she goes from Isaac Boss. And that's well taken down.
It's a super take, isn't it?
Daly was there, and Jacobs now, just a little shimmy, and he sends the kick through, but Madigan was waiting, and Andy Good fielding for Wasps.
Well read by Madigan and by Andy Good.
Oh, that's a right old mess of things there by Jimmy Gopper. Overran that one. But Leinster somehow emerged with it, and Gopperth tries to make amends, but his kick far too long might go all the way dead, and it does. He said there.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it, how the momentum can turn in games, and Wasps have definitely had their moment where they got themselves back into this game, and suddenly the mistakes that we were seeing from Wasps in the first half have now transferred themselves to Leinster in the second half. They're missing kicks, just a few little mistakes creeping into the game, and it allows Wasps to build that little bit of pressure, Brian.
You just know that it is, the swings of momentum, particularly when you've had a really bad first half. you don't automatically come out and score 2 easy tries against a team like Leinster. You've got to build it, and you have to build faith, and they've managed to get themselves one. Now they need to work towards another one. That might take 10, 12, 15 phases.
Keep working.
Down it goes. That looks to be a slip as much as anything else, so the referee lets us play on. And Andy Good gives it on to Jacobs, and again quick hands. This time it finds its way nicely to Varndell, but easily enough watched by the Leinster defence. Penalty though coming to Wasps. Things are beginning just to switch a little bit. Hughes trying to find Ashley Johnson still with that advantage, and as the ball finds its way into Leinster hands, they will come back for that penalty. What's the decision here then?
Well, I mean, it's very tight into the touchline on the angle, so I think I'd be tempted just to pop it into the corner, but 7-point difference, still plenty of time to go. I don't think three points, well, I mean, it gets you in the game, but personally put it in the corner.
That is the decision. And so Andy Good tries to find some ground on that slight angle, and he's done pretty well.
I mean, it's not a nice kick, is it, for a penalty, 3 points right in on the touchline.
Also, Lawrence, it's not a draw that they're after. I know we still have 12 minutes to go, but they want to get their 7-pointer in early, so they have a chance of a long-range penalty or a drop goal at the time winds down.
Well, they have their chance, they have their position, Wasps. The throw is good from Festuccia, taken in by Mile, and once again the crowd urging them on. Huge drive, great work by Wasps. Leinster trying to urge them towards that touchline, but they're in that position again. Wasps so close to the line. Can the forwards do it one more time? Again it's Kieran Mile who takes it on, and then on to Jake Cooper-Woolley, once again so close. This is how the try came last time, and over the top, and does he get it down? The try is given, and Nathan Hughes reaching over and scoring the number 8 as try number 2 for Wasps, and they are so nearly level. What a game we have here at the Ricoh Arena.
Well, it's 2 tries, identical really, and it was Mr. Tickle Arms in the end that got him over. Fantastic work from the whole Wasp pack. They got the drive going nice and long in the legs, and then he just reached over the line. It's an area that often we just don't see defended because players don't expect it. Look at this, Brian, they get the drive going, they get good pace on it first, and Leinster are always on the back foot. There's a series of pick and goes round the corner, and then this man Hughes, look at that, no one's defending it through the middle.
Almost like a little quarterback sneak,
Just 1 yard is all you need.
Now this is, after that try from Nathan Hughes, a big conversion. A draw would move them ahead of Harlequins at the moment on head-to-head. So Andy Good, over to you. They've started there, so now there's going to be no charge. They started their charge early. Andy Good's just taken it already, and off the post. So what's the decision from the referee? He's going to say take it again.
Well, he's going to give him the benefit of the doubt and let him have another go.
We stay here.
Wow.
He's not a man that likes to take his full 60 seconds for a kick, as Andy Good. He goes about his business very, very quickly, and he gets a second opportunity of this, and you have to imagine he won't hit that post again.
You got to say as well, Mr. Gar says he's not a man who gets ruffled, is he? Just very calm, very easy.
Okay, after that early charge from Leinster, another bite of the cherry. He's had a sighter. And there we are, makes amends. Through it goes. Wasps are level. What a match we have here. 20 points apiece, 10 minutes to go, and the flags once again waved. Dai Young unmoved, but inside he must be fizzing after that try from Nathan Hughes.
Well, we felt this was a match that had everything in the build-up, and it certainly hasn't let us down. Leinster magnificent in that first half. Really played like the 3 times European champions they are. But Wasps have come right back into this game, and it's so nicely balanced now.
Well, it's a microcosm of Wasps' efforts in this pool. They started very poorly, as they have in this game, and they've come right back into it, into this match, into this pool.
Yeah, inside.
They could be the very first side to qualify for the knockout stages of this competition after losing their first 2 games. And who would have thought at half-time and in the early stages of the second half that they might be in with a chance of winning this game, because Leinster were in control, and now we're all square, and Andy Good with a bit of ground in front of him. Gofford takes it down. And eventually Hughes and Haskell claim him. He still did well though, Gofford, and Leinster edging their way up over halfway.
Yeah, you'll see a much more tactical game now from both sides, but certainly from Leinster. It's about field position,
which Madigan tried to find there, but Vondel gives it to Mazzi.
They'll be happy with that. They'll be happy with that game, Leinster. They can just take their breath, Brian, and just regather themselves.
Yeah, you're right, Lawrence. I think we are going to see more tactical kicking, but as good as Wasps have been, I think Leinster probably have been guilty of trying to sit on a lead, and you can't do it. Everyone knows that the best way of protecting a lead is continuing playing.
Well, still 2 as it stands now, and Wasps just creeping ahead of Ireland. This is the try with Hughes just over the top. No need to check that one. We saw also Simon McIntyre coming on in the front row for Matt Mullen for Wasps. Fresh legs, 7 minutes to go, but Leinster with the position in the ball. And it's good work by Conan and Toner. And some really confusing lines being run by Leinster and options either side. Boss. Okay, again, disapproved of that. Sorry about the language. Somebody's a joker apparently. Leinster bearing down on the Wasps 22 again.
Wasps defending very well, but clearly she's not over-competing in the breakdown. Don't want to give that penalty away.
Madigan and Fitzgerald linking well again. There is the 22. And now you're getting into drop goal territory. Gofford. And the crowd cheering because it veers away to the right. But that is where we are in this match now, into the final few minutes. A penalty, a drop goal to win it.
I disagree. I think they're panicking there. You know, it's not still a little bit more time left. Over 6 minutes left in this game. And they had Wasps going backwards there. I thought Gofford, Brian, for me, just snatched a little bit, went a bit too early with that drop kick.
Absolutely, and no one better equipped to know how to win a game with a drop goal. You know from 2003, what's the best way to go and score your drop goal is by going after a try.
Good goes for pure length from the 22, and there is McFadden looking a little bit weary there as he comes forward. Leinster again, and after that failed drop goal attempt, had to come from some depth. Madigan. There's some tired looking figures out there now. Leinster trying to pick up the pace. 5 minutes remaining. Boss makes a little sneaky break, and Leinster still with it, despite the best efforts of Elliot Daly. And a penalty has been conceded to Leinster, which may be crucial.
From the side.
Yeah, just came in at the side there. I think a bit of frustration. Daly, the young lad, you've got to just keep your patience and keep your shape. Both sides having opportunities with the ball. Look at this, Daly there. It's not that one. He comes in again for a second bite, and it's just a little rush of blood to the head, and has given Leinster an opportunity to get this lead back again.
So Daly on his 100th appearance for Wasps. And there's still time after this kick, but this may be decisive. You can see Madigan will take all the time he's allowed. And then it's down to Leinster to try and secure that ball.
Just looking at that stat of Elliot Daly, 100th game for Wasps and 22 years of age. Embarrassingly, 35 years of age, 186 games for Leinster. I imagine he might beat me.
Just wondering how many costly penalties you gave away at crucial points of the game, though. He'll feel that one, Elliot Daly, if this one goes over.
He wouldn't mind half the caps you've got there, Brian, to be fair to him.
So the spotlight falls on Ian Madigan. Again, he really is eating up the clock here. There have been a few injury treatments as well, but he has to get on with things. I think Jerome Garces just coming in there to say the clock is ticking. Leinster with their such proud record in Europe Wasps, 3 times champions. The last Irish side standing. And this to lead. It is wide from Ian Madigan. Wasps still live. And what a final 3 minutes we have here. Nervous times for Matt O'Connor watching on. So good with his kicking last week in a game which they're running away with. But here when the pressure's on, and Daly as relieved as anybody that that kick went wide. Another change there being made as Alex Lazowski has come on for Ben Jacobs in the back line, and there is McFadden again, and he sees a bit of space over the head of Simpson, but clutching it with his fingertips, the scrum half finds the new man Lazowski. So which side blinks? Carney now, all his experience and skill, but he's just taken down by the toenails. Gopper, little chip through from Fitzgerald, and he and Fanning chasing after it. Simpson does well. And Lazowski now, fresh on the field. Watts deep inside, their own 22, flinging it about, and the ball loose, and Hughes back for it. There was half a chance there. Hughes holding in one hand, risky play now, taken on by Simon McIntyre. And eventually, they say to Andy Good, clear it. So now, all the way back, and Rob Carney, just over 2 minutes remaining. A draw is good enough for Leinster to go through as pool winners. Maybe good enough for Wasps. Into touch.
Well, what a period of play there was. Throwing caution to the wind. It did seem for 1 second it was on there, but unfortunately the passes didn't quite go to hand. But they've earned themselves a line out. And could there be last minute drama in this game?
One thing Leinster have to be really careful of as well is Elliot Daly. 61 metre kick I think he had last week. He's got to make sure, Leinster have to make sure they don't give away any penalties inside their own half.
Well, it comes down to fine margins, little things, little mistakes. Festuccia getting treatment here. What an atmosphere in here, and what a match we've seen, because Wasps were dead and buried, and near enough 24,000 inside this new home. We've seen a great comeback from the 2 times champions. And again, Wasps do not know if that draw, as it is at the moment, will be good enough. We know that it moves them above Harlequins on the head-to-head between those 2 sides. But again, other pools maybe out of their hands. 3 runners-up go through as well as the 5 pool winners. And Dai Young down to see if he's talking to winners, losers, or drawers of a game. What a game it's been. Festuccia finds Mile. What a drive this is from Wasps. Up to halfway. And Simpson gets them going again. Revitalised home side here. Good. Again given deep and Wade. Hoping for it outside, but it's carried in by Daly. Haskell still fighting, trying to get themselves into a position here, Wasps, for a penalty for a drop goal, and Lazowski is down. Good to Haskell again, takes it on himself, the captain. Andy Good given on to Festuccia. No mistakes, holding on to this ball, but still making ground here. Mile does a bit, buying a few more feet and inches. Haskell, are they close enough yet? Coming back to the forwards again. Good still, he's sitting back deep now. Andy Good might need a bit more ground. It's a long way back, and they might have it now. Johnson, and Johnson makes a breakthrough. The clock is red. Might be in a position now. Simpson. Good is sitting back there waiting. Wasps holding on to the ball. Still it's the forwards will do a bit. Hughes is there. Second try scorer for Wasps. Now they have the position. Simpson. Back it comes to Good. Andy Good for the victory. It's wide, it is a draw. They do not know if it's enough. That was to go through, that was for the win. The crowd falls silent, and Andy Good knew that was the moment to guarantee progress. They don't know if they have it now.
Well, he can't quite believe it, can he? Leinster did look like they crept in offside and then they went back again, and it's one of those things. They put enough pressure on Andy Good, didn't they? But that defensive Leinster line were just crept offside, but the referee has decided enough is enough.
Credit to Jack Conan as well, the angle that he runs at means that Andy Good has to hook the ball in. He gets into a great blocking line, and
what a game though, what a game though. I mean, we do know that Leinster go through automatically as pool winners. Wasps will have to wait and see. That kick from Andy Good was to make sure that they went through, and Leinster would have had to wait and see. But we know that Harlequins are out despite their efforts in Castor. What an effort from Wasps to come back into that game.
Yeah, it's a fantastic effort, and when they look back on this, whatever happens, you know, that first few minutes of the game, the first half of the game really is where it's cost them. Leinster were excellent, but character, grit and determination shown by that man James Haskell and his Wasps side to get back into this match.
Well, let's have a look at the pool and confirm it all for you, because Leinster with this draw today, they do